Hi guys, and welcome to my Let's Play of Super Punch-Out on the Super Nintendo. And finally, a Let's Play of a game I actually enjoy. This is definitely one of my childhood favorites on the Super Nintendo, so keep in mind that whatever I say, it's coming from a place in love and respect, kind of like I'm making fun of an old friend who maybe put on 50 pounds over the summer. So yeah, this Let's Play is going to be 4 parts, each part covering one of the circuits, so let's get started. And your first opponent, surprise surprise, a Frenchman who doesn't know what winning feels like. So every boxer in this game has a trick to beating them. And the trick for this guy is really just to pound his arthritic, brittle-ass bones until they crumble like cheap sidewalk chalk. I mean, this guy, you know, you'd expect it for the first boxer, but he is extremely easy. I'm actually struggling a little bit here. He's blocking more of my punches than usual. But once you get that meter at the bottom filled up, you get a super punch. So if you just hammer away at him with that, it's basically over. Normally, the game relies pretty heavily on counter-punching, but for this guy, it's just as effective to just pound away at him until he ends up shaking hands with the Grim Reaper. So this is Gabby J. He's the Glass Joe of this game if you played the original NES Punch-Out. And I'm pretty sure I just knocked him out right there, so, you know, you should know if you need some tips on beating this guy. I guess tip 1 is make sure your controller's plugged in, make sure your hands aren't, you know, rendered useless or crippled by blood clots, and hit the punch button. And that's basically all you need to know. So I'm just collecting my score right now and seeing where my time fits in. And, you know, it's barely number 1, so that's pretty good. And here we go. Oh, a Canadian lumberjack who's 440 pounds. Yeah, real nice game. Bear Hugger is the first guy you fight that actually fights back. So the trick really is to try to hit him in the face, but you won't be able to because he'll block it. And then duck under and counterpunch him a couple of times. He's gotten himself so fat that body shots are actually ineffectual, which is a strategy that surprisingly you rarely see in real boxing. Once you get the super punch, you can basically just ruin his life, as you can see here. You just gotta dodge and then fire back with some of your own. And another thing, since when does the World Boxing Association let you wear overalls in the ring? Is this like redneck boxing? Alright, so yeah, this guy's basically rinse and repeat. Pretty much everyone in the minor circuit is easy, with the exception maybe of, you know, Piston Hurricane the first time you fight him. Or I suppose if you're really new to the game, Bald Bull might be tough as well. But anyway, I think that'll be the end of him. Knockouts are pretty easy to obtain here. They're a lot harder on the major circuit and particularly the special circuit. So 38 seconds. I think that's probably going to be good enough for best time. But you know, the people who did the scores in this game, yeah, see, that was pretty close. People who did the scores in this game were actually pretty good. So this is Piston Hurricane, and this guy gave me fits as a kid, really. It took me probably a week to beat him the first time I bought the game, although I was only about 8 years old. This is the first level where you really need to block, because his special move is what's called the Piston Hurricane, where he basically just unloads on you, going headshot, body shot, just alternating until he's done. But the trick to him is hitting him just before he goes on his Piston Hurricane. Like right now. Yeah. And that should normally take him out if you do it with a super punch, but I did it with a normal punch because my timing was a bit off. And it's important to do that because that's when he's most vulnerable, and it also stops you from having to, you know, do 20 or 30 blocks if he actually starts on the Piston Hurricane. So I'm trying to think of who this guy looks like in that top right picture. And I think I've come to the conclusion that it's kind of like Chad Ochocinco and Carlton Banks if they had a love child. Alright, so that guy's not too hard once you get used to it. And by the way, I want to point out that I'm not going for like the best times in history here. I'm basically just trying to beat it as fast as I can. And I'm not that good at the game. I know there's people that can knock that guy out in like 13 seconds. And probably people who are pro at this game were laughing at how long it took me to beat Gabby J. So this is Bald Bull. He's the first guy you encounter who has a one-hit KO. And what that is every now and then, at certain parts, he'll run backwards and then he'll charge at you and try to do an uppercut. And if you get caught by that, you're definitely going to go down on the first hit. The strategy for this guy is pretty similar to the strategy for all of the other minor circuit guys. You just block or dodge his punches and then counter back with some of your own. And once you get the super punch, just, keep doing that, but make sure you end with a super punch. So I've knocked him down for the first time, and after he gets up, he's going to charge at me. You need to either get out of the way or hit him with a super punch at just the right time. The benefits to hitting him with the super punch are that, well, you're probably going to knock him out, and also you don't have to deal with him doing like 5 or 6 charges in a row. The downside to it, and it is a big downside, is that the timing is very difficult, but luckily I played it enough that I've got it pretty much down pat. And down he goes. So I'm pretty sure 32 seconds is going to be good for the best time on this guy. Yeah, normally, sometimes, even recently, this guy can take upwards of 2 minutes, just because if you miss that punch on the charge, for one, he's going to knock you out, which takes time. But secondly, he's also going to keep charging, which is going to really eat up the clock. So there, I'm first in the minor circuit. Thank you for joining me on this trip through the minor circuit of Super Punch-Out, and I look forward to talking with you guys in part 2, the major circuit. More racist stereotypes.